let's see the question. The question is, what would happen to the life of a cell if there was no Golgi apparatus? So the question is saying that the cell organelle which is present in animal cells and plant cells, the Golgi apparatus, if it becomes absent in the cell, then what will happen to the cell? Will the cell be able to survive or will it die? So if I come up to the question that what is the Golgi apparatus? So Golgi apparatus is basically a cell organelle which is present in both the plants and animal cell, whose major function is the modification packaging and transport of proteins, usually in the form of vesicles. So Golgi apparatus is one of the very crucial cell organelles present in the plant cells and the animal cells. They serve the major function that they modify, pack, and transport the proteins, which are the building blocks of the human body. So, moreover, additional to this, Golgi apparatus is also having the presence of lysosomes. So, the Golgi apparatus also does lysosomes formation. They form lysosome. Lysosome is very important because lysosome is kind of a membrane-bound cell organelle which contains hydrolytic enzymes. It contains hydrolytic enzymes which are very much required for digestive purposes. It contains digestive enzymes. So lysosomes are very important. They contain hydrolytic enzymes. Major purpose is basically digestion. So we also call them as digestive enzymes. So if Golgi apparatus goes missing or goes absent in a cell, then the cell will not be able to modify a protein, pack a protein, transport a protein, or the cell will even not be able to form the lysosomes, which will eventually lead to the death of the cell. So if the Golgi bodies or the Golgi apparatus is absent, then what are the consequences we are going to see? So the first consequence, the major one, is that the cell will not be able to pack the protein, transport the protein. It will not be able to even modify the protein. So the proteins will keep on floating inside the cell randomly because there is no packaging of the protein. It does not have any site to go, no target site. It will not reach the target site because it's not transported properly. So we can say the proteins in the cell will float very randomly. So without the substances that the Golgi body typically it distributes, other cells and organs in the body would not be able to operate. So proteins will not reach, so other organelles and other body functions would not be able to take place. So eventually the entire cycle is going to get compromised. Moreover, the second part is if lysosomes are not degenerate or not generated in the absence of Golgi apparatus, then the cell would eventually die. Eventually, the cell has to die in any of the cases. If the protein is not reaching the target sites, eventually other organs will die, eventually the cell will die because there is no systematic way of carrying out the things. Because protein is containing all the information. So cell would eventually die as a result of buildup of dead and damaged molecules. Because lysosomes are also, we can call them scavengers. They also destroy the dead and damaged molecules. They have the digestive purposes. They digest all the unrequired stuff, dead and damaged molecules and organelles. They are cleaned by the lysosomes because lysosomes are autonomous cell organelles. Moreover, if lysosomes are not formed, they are absent, then the cell would eventually die. As a result of the lots of dead and damaged molecules inside the cell will form, and there will be nobody to clean it. So eventually, out of all the build-up, the cell will eventually die. It would get choked and it would die. Moreover, materials would not be able to pack and transport. The cell's secretory function will be going to be affected because there is no packaging, there is no material transportation, there is no protein transportation, everything will get hampered. So we can say in total, sum up, the cell's secretory functions, because the Golgi bodies, they secrete lysosomes, they form proteins, they pack it in the form of vesicles, then they transport it. So the cell's secretory function would stop. So this entire thing is going to happen, a chain of events which is going to happen if the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi bodies goes missing out of the cell, because it's a very important and a very crucial cell organelle. So I hope you understood this well.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.